back, Judd'z Budz, episode whatever it is, as usually planned. Spoke Z, joined by my good buddy, Mr. At State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how we doing?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a little perplexed at the hat that you're wearing. It makes me extremely uncomfortable for a lot of reasons.
It felt a little bit mean, but I don't know why it feels appropriate, you know? It's not like there's any news related to what's going on, you know? But just
true.
I was already wearing it, and I was like, uh-oh. I have to keep it on now.
I just happened to be wearing a Detroit Red Wings hat, as I'm known to do very regularly. No, and I also got here just in time. That's why we started 2 minutes late, because we were chatting a little bit before we started. But I am probably going to be in one for the foreseeable future, because on podcast nights, I always get the easy kid. The easy kid's no longer the easy kid. So
love that.
We'll see. I'm hoping this is an anomaly. We'll find out. We'll definitely know by next Monday whether or not this is a real problem or not. So I don't know. It's tough. I am so my youngest kid, I am his whisperer. I'm the only one that can successfully get him down to sleep every time without any failure. I took 4 attempts over the course of an hour between Bottle and him falling asleep, making sure he's fully asleep, and then trying to lay him down, and none of it. So we'll see. New development.
You know what? I love that for him, though, taking back. Just remember, I run this. This is my house now.
Yeah, he actually requested a trade. So
interesting.
I'm not sure what to do now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where do we even want to start tonight? We got some Stanley Cup final stuff, obviously, because that game was fucking bonkers. We've got Dylan Larkin heavy, other Minnesota Wild stuff, but mostly Dylan Larkin. And we got a little bit of NHL draft stuff. Where do you want to start, Z? Drive this.
I was going to tell you, I need you to drive it, because I can barely speak words.
Okay. Would you like to start with the Cup final or something wild?
We should just go into the wild thing. I think that's
right, we're just going to go into the wild thing now. This has blown up very, very quickly. Do we know, have we gotten confirmation that the 3 teams are for sure Minnesota, Florida, Vegas?
I mean, that's all.
I haven't seen anyone push back.
Yeah.
So I don't know where your head's at on this, Z. My immediate thought was, holy shit, he wants to go to Minnesota, and he had to put at least 2 more teams. So he picked 2 that just have no need for him.
Yeah.
And he'd still be okay if he landed there, but
yeah, I would even before that, dude, I would take a step back. I'm curious how you feel, because all of this realistically could have seen coming. This is now 10 years now, no playoffs. He's the last guy left on this roster that was on the team that was in the playoffs a decade ago. We could have seen it coming as far as the comments last year post deadline in the offseason. But that being said, at his end of season presser this year, he was zero indication that he was not fully invested on moving forward, and not in a positive mind frame where the team was at. But again, obviously the situation in Detroit's been a real clusterfuck, especially the last couple of years, when in theory this should have been the time where they're not only in the playoffs, but really competing. If everyone was going to follow that Iser plan and everything like that. So the organization obviously has some serious blame. If I'm a Red Wings fan, I just got to tell you, everyone that's pissed off, I 100% justified.
Yeah.
Especially if it's true that he was 3 teams. 100%. I have talked to some Red Wings fans that are enraged with this man. And I think it's from his point of view, he's within his rights to exercise every clause that he got in that contract. He has served this team as long as he has. He's from He's a Red Wings fan growing up from like all of that totally. And I would just like to say, I am not going to come on here and be like, how dare you be mad at him? Like, look at the situation he was thrown into. How could you no. This is kind of like bullshit. Like, my first reaction was, holy shit, he actually said it. And then I was like, I know there's no way that he wanted this leaked. That's another thing too. This doesn't really serve anyone, this getting out. Because, like, also, if it's true that there's 3 teams that he's willing to go to, and now that everyone knows the 3 teams, if I'm the other, okay, we'll drag this out until you give us more teams. This is insane. Which is ironic though, because Billy Garrett being GM of the Wild, which is like at this point everyone's just assuming that's where this ends up. Although I don't really know how that's possible. But like, Bill Garrett would have loved to come out right away, and be like, "Hey, here is the best offer you're possibly gonna get," just like he did with Quinn Hughes. It's just not possible. Like, that's just not an option. And then the other 2 are gonna be like, "All right, sure,
yeah."
They're not gonna come out here and, like, give you a sweet, like, they're not gonna try to help you at all. Like, Bill Garrett's in his position where it's like, I would absolutely go out of my way to make this trade happen and make it an immediate yes from Steve Yzerman. There's just no way to do that outside of, like, giving other players obviously are not going to be involved in the deal. So it's a real plus. Which is why, again, totally justified for Red Wings fans to be absolutely livid about this.
Oh, and Red Wings fans can absolutely be pissed, but like, I'm sorry, Steve Yzerman, you fucking brought this shit upon yourself. Like, he's the one who people should be pointing fingers at. Again, I understand why they're mad at Larkin. And our boy Cam Myers throwing out the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Detroit fans are down so bad right now. Absolutely wild coming in with the Wings hat.
Yeah, I had the USA Hockey sweatshirt on and the Red Wings hat on like an hour and a half ago. I was like, fuck,
I had to go red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if Bill Guerin just totally leaned into this and next year their 3rd jersey was like a Team USA jersey?
Jesus.
All right, so there's a lot of angles to hit on the Larkin scenario, debacle, tragedy if you're a Red Wings fan. Are you with me though that like it'd be weird for Florida or Vegas to go for him, although Vegas will always just do whatever they want to do, but like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for either of them, does it?
I mean, like, maybe you could argue Vegas. Florida, you still have Barkov, you have Bennett, and you have Lundell down the middle.
Right. Stick with that.
And I don't see them being overly excited to give up any of those 3 in a deal that would keep going back the other way. So I don't really know what that would really do for them, obviously.
Okay, can I'm going to read you one. I actually thought this was a fascinating. I like when people are creative and like come up with things that I haven't seen. And I actually like paused and was like, shit, this actually could make some good sense. Let's see here. It's a 3-way trade. It is oh, did you find that one? Jesus, Mateo, you're on top of this shit. Okay. Wait. Yeah, okay. The bottom one there from John W. Minnesota Wild get Larkin. Vancouver gets Wallstedt. Detroit gets Pettersson and a first from the Minnesota Wild. And at first, for like so many reasons, I'm like, this makes no sense at all. And I like stopped. I'm like, besides the fact, let's just assume we're in a world where Gustafson's not injured and we can move Wallstedt. I took a step back and I'm like, who says no to this besides
Detroit.
Maybe Elias Pettersson?
Detroit, the immediate no.
Why? This is the only scenario where they're going to actually bring someone in that could maybe be their 1C and not completely derail where they think they're at.
I just don't see them possibly being okay with that at all. Like,
Yeah.
Again, in theory, if you're of the mind that like bringing in Dylan Larkin is the piece that puts the Wild like into that firm. I mean, they're already pretty close, obviously, so maybe that's just the case, depending on how the rest of the lineup fills out, obviously. But in theory, that 27 first round pick is not going to be very high. And you are taking a massive gamble on that Pettersson move. And that contract right now looks absolutely horrendous. And he's not trending in the right direction. Now, the Sedins have also been like, hey, we don't really want to do this yet. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think that's remotely close to enough for Detroit if you're like looking at what Dylan Larkin means to that team right now. Because now that he wants out, they don't have a top 6 center anymore. They don't and Pettersson, I think he can still play. Like, obviously, this year's not the true Elias Pettersson, but like that, I think they would look at it like, we don't get anything. We're getting like a really late first round pick probably, and we are literally crossing our fingers that day one next season, Elias Pettersson goes back to being like an 80, 90, 100-point first line center.
Yeah.
And I think they're immediately be like, well, we don't really feel good about either one of those things. So I would imagine that's a big no. I was thinking with Minnesota, just with what they have right now, I was like, it feels like if I'm Detroit, like we need to figure out like a way to involve a third team.
You have to. Like the Wild don't have anything they need. The things that they want from us are Wallstedt, which like, no, they don't want that because they've already got a clusterfuck of goalies. Then we've got 2 centers, which they have no shortage of centers in their pool. They just need a first line center. And to bank on Juraj Stramel being that would be quite the stretch. So yeah, it does feel weird.
Well, and the centers that they have coming, you can't even be sold 100% that any of them will wind up being a top, like, you know what I mean? So that's why they're going to have to make a decision now, which this is where I was kind of hoping we would start, is just like, what direction is this Red Wings team looking at literally next season? Not just in a year or two, literally starting next year. It's looking like it's going to suck again, especially now that Larkin's like, yeah, no, I'm gone. You don't have a top 6 center. You still need a top 6, like left wing, right wing, probably someone else that can score outside of like DeBrincat and Raymond. We aren't super confident how they feel about like their depth D, and they've obviously got some like exciting prospects that should be able to play next year, but none of them are like super high up in that lineup. You don't really know what you're gonna get from Gibson last year, that contract. You're hoping Kosa can come in eventually here. You've got Trey Augustine in the wings, obviously. He's not going to be an NHL goalie next season. Like, it feels like it's going to suck. So then at that point, are they just looking at, all right, we're going to get as many futures as we can here and see if we can continue to, like, get enough futures where we can package them up and then make a move the next year or two? Like, it just feels like next year is going to suck. And if they want to just, like, fully go into that, they have to have a conversation right now with DeBrincat. They have to have a conversation right now with Raymond and Sider. Like, hey, this is probably where we're going, right? Like, at least very short term, we want to be back after next season in some capacity here.
Can you see Steve Yzerman even considering that approach?
That's the thing. I don't know what options they're going to have. Especially
if Larkin convince himself that they can make the playoffs.
If Larkin's really going to handcuff them to the point of like, here's your options, trade me. I'm like, if I'm Steve, I'm like, okay, you can sit at home and we're just not going to speak all summer long. Do you have after in 2 years that your like full no trade goes away and then it turns into a 10-team no move or whatever, or like a 10-team trade list, like you're willing to move to 10, give me the 10 right now. Like, I need the 10, like help me out a little bit here. Other than that, they're going to have to get creative and add a third team in there. Cause like realistically, the most logical destination now is Minnesota, especially with the parameters that Larkin is allegedly set out. And like, if you're Detroit, like, God damn it, we can like add some stuff that we either have and we like, but it's not. You're never getting like, they're not going to get a Larkin. They're obviously like they're parting ways with the best player in this trade in all intents purposes. So it's going to suck. But like, I just like this has handcuffed them so bad that you have to pray that Larkin's willing to play ball a little bit here.
Well, and obviously, covering the Wild, we absolutely want a trade to happen, and I'm sure like Detroit fans are like, fuck it, like let's get this done and like move on with our lives. The funniest version of this is Steve Yzerman being like, okay, fuck you. It's gonna be a fun year, dude. The only reason that's like really hard to see happening is like he is your captain. Does that Like you kind of need a resolution here. And it is funny though. I think it was Russo that mentioned this. He's like, hey, you know what the solution is? Go out and get his best friend and Zach Werenski. Trade for him. He's got 1 year left on his deal. And it's like, sure. Steve Yzerman famously willing to pay up to bring in star defensemen. Oh, wait. He could have fucking fixed this a year ago. He could have easily brought in Quinn Hughes, and they would be in such a different spot. And now I can't imagine him taking a big swing like that, or at least being able to come up with a way to do something like that that's going to change Larkin's mind. Can you?
I mean, at this point, no.
Like, this has been building up for a while. The fact that it finally came to light and he actually said, please trade me, feels like the genie's out of the bottle. There's no turning back on this. Now, there's not a 0% chance, but pretty unlikely that if he is there for training camp, that he's not very upset. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. I look at like what options really they have at this point. Now that it's out, it's public. There's supposedly a list of 3 teams that he gave them, and 2 of them it's a bit of a stretch. Then one of them's a stretch because I don't like, outside of Minnesota getting really creative and adding an insane amount, which I mean, I don't know. Well, Garen will do it, but like how much they have at this point after expending what they expended on bringing in Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
I don't really know how much more they can like make this like appealing for Detroit. In that point, maybe Detroit just has to be like, all right, I guess we just have to like bite the bullet here. But it just like, it's put them in such a bad spot. And like, you know, I think if Detroit's season didn't go the way that it did, like if they were just dog shit from start to finish to be one thing, this would have been probably done at the deadline, really. But like the way that they went out, they found a new way to break that fan base's heart, like game after game. They were finding creative ways to lose games towards the end of the year there. And it's just like the immediate aftermath is everyone's furious again, obviously, because it's one thing to miss the playoffs in the Atlantic Division. But the way that they did it was borderline / completely inexcusable when you can look at like the point, like where they were like in the standings, like right around Thanksgiving, Christmas, January. It's like, how did like the collapse was just seismic. Like there's just a new way to do this. But like there would have been a different way to frame it, I guess, if you're a Red Wings fan. Either way, it's gonna suck. It's your captain. It's the kid that's like literally grown up Red Wings fan. Right. And like it takes some fucking balls to like, as a kid from Michigan who was a Detroit Red Wings fan growing up, watching Steve Yzerman for all intents and purposes, it takes some balls to go head to head to clash for a couple of years and then just say, I want out. By the way, 3 teams. Like, holy shit. All right. Good Lord, that had to suck. But I guess, I don't know. He's just fed up. But again, it's just weird. If you go, I went back today and I listened to his like season exit, like the presser at the end of the season. It did not come across like this was on his mind at that point. So but this at the same time, you know, this isn't a decision that just gets made snap of the fingers, like watch the playoffs.
Right.
So I don't know. Just feels like they're just really down shit's creek right now.
Yeah. And I've seen comments online and in the chat about just like, oh, this was talked about the Olympics. Like, do you think that this leads to a change with like Olympic staff? Like, do you think that they have to take people that aren't current GMs and have them be the ones that run these teams? Does that matter?
Wait, sorry,
I'm not saying Bill Guerin sold him. I think the players are all talking, but still, there's going to be like speculation that like, oh, weird how all of these Americans now all of a sudden want to play for the Wild.
I don't know. I mean, I think obviously his best friend being Quinn Hughes getting moved to Minnesota, and then like,
Second best
Minnesota's
friend,
being
apparently.
really good. Sorry, second best friend. If you're Larkin, it makes sense. And again, this is something we should talk about eventually here. So I said it before when they acquired Andre Fleury, when they've had guys like Kaprizov re-up, they've had Boldy re-up, they've had all the like Faber, and again Quinn Hughes coming in. Like Minnesota has turned themselves into like a place that people want to come. Like it used to be, or at least it used to feel like it was like, hey, maybe some guys at the end of the career like, oh, Minnesota's a nice place for my family to come, and obviously it's a cool place to play hockey. But now it's like it's a winning destination. Obviously, like they've got a bunch of really young players that are really good, and they're competing and they're like in the window. So now they've turned themselves into a destination, which is cool. I don't think that was the case up until a couple years ago.
No, and it is a very cool thing. It's just like very funny now how it's like, oh yeah, people want to come here, and we have no way to get them here except for waiting for their contracts to expire. Classic. And Russo did confirm, at least he said it sounds like Gustafsson could be out until November. So like,
right. So essentially, the one really like the one thing the Wild have that's close to being a blue chip, which is for me, it's always been my number one prospect for a couple of years now. Wallstedt, which you can't move, and like outside of like that trade, also being like a straight up Kosa for Wallstedt swap as well as part of that, which would be funny because the Red Wings decided to pick Kosa before Wallstedt, which I was like, that's fucking crazy. But okay, sure, yeah. And he's had flashes, like he's still legit, like he's gonna be
a prospect, yeah.
And a year ago, the conversation around Kosa and Wallstedt was completely flipped. Like it was Kosa was one trending in the right direction. Obviously, 1 year for Wallstedt and a couple of years playing in Iowa. I was like, oh, I don't know about him anymore. Well, have you seen Iowa?
Yeah, that's which Hlabai officially has said overseas. Yeah, I'm not going back to Minnesota. So
yeah. That kind of fucking rules.
List.
It really does rule that he was just like, yeah, I was nasty the Olympics for like a couple of games, so I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Like, I like this guy. I was like, you know what? That fucking rules.
So another piece of this trade, though, that like some people are definitely hammering into and others are kind of neglecting. Like, we can't just do, let's call it Yurov, Stramel, and like picks. We've got to move salary. We're not going to have the cap space to fit this. That being said, one of the names that's been brought up is Joel Eriksson Ek. I'm going to be honest. I'm not very interested in a move where we're basically just swapping Ek for Larkin on the depth chart. Like that doesn't help. Does it?
Yeah.
Like he's got more offense that he brings, and he is no slouch defensively, obviously, with what we saw for Team USA. But like, we're back to the same fucking problem, just a little bit better, and then we're giving up pieces to do it. I'm not on board for that personally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you get marginally better, but then you're still like, hey, we better pray that Yurov can play 2C next season, and beyond, obviously. And actually, assuming Yurov wouldn't also be in the fucking the deal at that point,
right?
By the way. But again, it's like part of it is just you look at what Minnesota has to offer that would be at all appealing for Detroit. And even then, like I can guarantee you, Detroit fans will be like, what? Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's going to happen no matter what. We're going to like Wild fans will think it's too much. Detroit fans won't think it's enough, which means it's probably close-ish. It's hard not to just continue to fall on Brodin as being someone that would need to be involved in a trade like this.
Yeah. That's
like literally the only thing that Yzerman hasn't been able to figure out is how to put together a blue line crop outside of Seider. Like,
well, I mean, Edvardson's an RFA, and Edvardson was nasty this year.
Right. And like the guys he's drafted, yes. Has he signed a single defenseman that has made sense? He has done such a poor job in free agency of trying to bring guys in to bolster the blue line. It has been comical.
Yeah. again, I just keep looking at all of these things that Minnesota would be offering, and the only way that like Detroit moves on it is because Larkin's not willing to go anywhere else, unless Vegas gets creative, obviously.
Well, there was a different trade offer, and I don't know if Mateo grabbed this one, but there was one that involved Minnesota and Vegas. Bueller, guessing no. I'll give you the punchline. The Wild take Tomas Hertl.
Yeah.
So that Vegas can take in Larkin, but the Wild get Hertl somewhat on the cheap. Worse things could happen. It's definitely not my preference, but like, I'm not going to be upset.
Yeah, it's just, again, where I keep coming back to it, it's like, this just feels like a really fucking weird time, right? Like,
well, and I guess the bigger question is, like, it's immediate. We know he wants to come here. It's a good fit, and it seems like both with his cap hit and the perceived package to get him, like, yes, it's going to cost something, but let's be real. It's not going to cost the same as what a Hughes or a Matthews would cost. But that being said, do you want to hold out for Hughes or Matthews when they're not guarantees? Like, I don't know. Because I'm genuinely curious I guess Wings fans, but more importantly, like what Eisman, like what does he actually want? Like what is the perceived return package? Because I don't want to sit here and like throw everything at this because yeah, Larkin's a great player. I'm not depleting everything that we have in effort to bring him in.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, like, if I'm Stevie Y, I'm still just like looking around and I'm saying, hey, how about let me give a call to Sonny Meta and we can figure something around Heesh or something else or whatever. And then it's like, hey, then you never know. Maybe Quinn's like, oh, both my brothers are there and one of my best friends is there. Maybe that becomes more appealing. Like that would be diabolical for me personally. At least he wouldn't be Atlantic though, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like that's where I keep going back to is the fact like it feels like he's zeroed in on Minnesota. If he's really gonna handcuff them here and really not do them a favor, it's the logical landing point. And at some point, Detroit's going to have to do it, I guess. But Bill Guerin's not going to want to. I mean, like, whatever. If he ends up with Dylan Larkin, he's like, all right, I'll give you the best package I could possibly give you. But I don't know. At the same time, like, I'm also nervous about giving up every single thing that the Wild have. I don't know. It's again, I just keep coming back to the fact that it's just a weird time. And it doesn't feel like the right time to do it outside of Larkin being like, I'm out. It's like, holy shit, now? Really? You just do this now?
Has to be the right time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see this. This is either going to be done like in the next couple of days or it's going to drag pretty deep into the summer for a lot of reasons, many of which we've already hit on. And it sucks because like the fit is perfect. The scenario is perfect. We legitimately don't have anything that Detroit gives two shits about. Mm-hmm. Unless you mentioned earlier, like, oh, does like Detroit decide they're going to pack it in for a year and go with the futures route? And like, hey, after this one bad year, we're right back in it. Why not take whatever futures Minnesota's sending and flip them right away? Like there are other teams that would absolutely want some of the players that we could give up, and like you got a lot better market versus we're stuck dealing with this one team. It's easier said than done, and like you're obviously banking on the ability to flip them, but it is just such a bad match as far as what both teams have to try and make something work here. But again, I just don't. Vegas will never shock me, but I still would be a little shocked if they found a way to make this happen. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because again, it keeps coming back. Like the framework for Minnesota would be going out the window for Minnesota would be like a scramble. You're off 27 first, but realistically, the best thing they have to offer is Wallstedt, who plays a position that Detroit has nothing but nothing but. And then even then, Gus is also out till Thanksgiving, Christmas. Do you get them to also throw Kosa and swap that straight up? How tough are you in that working at all for you?
Right.
Not super. So it's just, again, it just keeps coming back to the place where it's weird. If I'm Steve White, I'm also like, please accept maybe Utah. How do you feel about Utah? They've got nothing but elite prospects in their pool. They still have their first round picks. Like, please.
Anaheim's really nice.
Like, what do you think?
Cole asked, could you pry Augustine with Larkin? I'm gonna lean no. That would be very unlikely, but I guess never say never. Like if they look at Wallstedt, they're like, that's our guy. Then like, sure, I guess any of their goalies could be on the table, but I'd be shocked. Kos is the guy coming back if we do something like that. All right, we made 303 HJ. I don't know. Oh, I don't know what. What does Detroit even expect? No contender would give back their 1C for Larkin. Well, Detroit doesn't expect anything. Detroit's not looking to trade Larkin. Larkin came and said, trade me now. So it's obviously they've been dealt a shit sandwich, but they got to figure something out, because if short of them actually going out and making a move to bring in a Werenski or something like that, you can't start the season with Larkin on your roster. That would be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the only option I have right now is to sit on it for at least make it, like, don't just pull the trigger immediately on because you don't think it's possible to get anything. Like, one thing we know about Steve Eisman, unbelievably stubborn and willing to be stubborn,
son of a bitch.
Not afraid to continue to be stubborn for the foreseeable future. And it's all like he's like looking at this draft class and be like, this is a draft class I need to get back into the first round for. Like, realistically, the 27 picks, he's like, okay, more to that. But again, like, you're talking about contenders, like some of those bringing a top 6 hitter, Larkin, like, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of picks that are going to be at all valuable for you either way. At least first round talent. So you're looking at prospects, and then the teams with all the the big prospect pools, it's definitely not Vegas, Minnesota, or Florida. Again, you're looking at up and coming teams, Utah, Anaheim, like those teams, but it doesn't sound like that's really on his radar as far as options to go to. So the bottom line is they're in such a shit spot for, like, as far as timing, if you're Detroit, and like you probably, now that you know that he's gone, or at least is going to be gone, you have about 8 other things you need to figure out in the meantime before next season starts. So you have an idea of what this team could possibly look like at the start for game 1. Because, like, realistically, probably is a situation they just have to bite the bullet and suck next year again. And how many guys are down with that? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it does suck, too, that, like, this was the year that Mo Sider put up, like, a Doris caliber season. And it's like, fuck, dude, like,
he's
right. He's so fucking good. So just put that C right on his sweater. You're like, hey, bro, just like, this is gonna suck at least for 1 year. And they're gonna be like, but it has sucked this whole time. It's like, well, talk to Dylan. Talk to Dylan.
It's the classic road trip, right?
Boy.
Like, we're almost there, I promise. Like, you said that an hour ago. Fuck. In my, like, weird twisted mind, all I can think about is how badly I need Marty St. Louis to, like, be texting Larkin right now, be like, yeah, fucking rights, dude, stick it to that bitch. Because Marty had every reason. Fuck Steve Yzerman for the way he treated him. But Larkin, it's more just like, I'm so tired of losing, and now I've finally won, and wow, that was fun. I would like to continue doing something like that. Or at least having the opportunity to try to do something like that, unlike Detroit, which, again, no ill will towards towards Wings fans. It's just like literally since the Yzer plan started, it feels like the drafting has been solid. They've had bad luck with where they've slotted in the first rounds and like done the best they can with it. Steve Yzerman has not done himself favors with how he's managed the team outside of the draft. And at what point, I don't know, like, can they, I can't imagine that Steve Yzerman is a fireable person. Like, you go in and tell him like he's out and he's like, no, I'm not. Get the fuck out of my office. Like,
I think realistically, he's just gonna be like, okay, I'll be director of hockey ops.
I humbly accept your nomination.
Steve, we said fired. He's like, yeah, no, what I heard was direct. Anyways, next question. Let me hire the GM. Thank you.
It's like, be careful. The next time you say fire to me, there will be fire. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Now we got to sub out Elmo's head for an Yzerman head. I mean, how much more can we say about the Larkin situation as it currently stands? It feels like everyone is pretty much throwing 2 prospects, a first, and maybe something else in all of the mocks that we're seeing. Let's see. Cam Myers, another super chat. Cam, you're a beauty. I feel like people are stuck on Larkin, but the GMs are giving way too many no moves out. Like 4 people in the entire league should have one. And guess what? Guarantee you, Michael McCarron's going to fucking have one.
Yep.
Yeah, the no moves. I just don't see the no moves going away, because if you don't give the player a no move, there's 5 other teams that are like, oh, that's all it takes for me to get you? Okay, I'll do that. I don't see a way around it. But it is unfortunate that the whole point of a no move is like, hey, I want to be here. And if you're going to make me move, I want to have control. I'm not saying that Dylan Larkin shouldn't be able to do this, but it is really shitty to be like, oh yeah, I've got full control and I just don't want to be here anymore. Fuck you.
Yeah. Like, this is the other thing I saw people talk about. Like, if you're a player, you got a full no move, no trade, whatever in your contract. The second that you go to the team, you're like, hey, I want out. Part of me is like, that should go to like a 12.
But how do you enforce that? Like,
no, I know that's
like, is there a formal process now by which you submit your request to be moved? Like the player can still get that message across and be like, I didn't formally request a trade. I'm not going to fucking play here though. Like, it'd be really tough to enforce.
No, I know. It's like, at the same time, I'm sitting there like, okay, bro.
Agreed. I'm with you. I do not disagree. It's just, I don't know how you could possibly manage that. But let's talk about our 4x4 NMC boy, Michael McCarron, which it's crazy. Like, as soon as you heard Joe and Russo start talking about just how much Guerin liked this guy and was going to make a push from, he's going to be back. He is going to. Russo seems to be convinced that something in the like 3 to 3.5 mil range over many years. There we go. Per Russo, 3.25 by 5 years. It's a lot better than 5 by 5, but I don't know. I'm not going to be mad when he's back. It's just, I don't really know how to feel. It is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, again, love what he brought to the Wild. Great fit. Obviously, great dude, great for the locker room. And again, just played really well from start to finish and was really good to the point where they elevated him into Ericsson's next spot, which was obviously by necessity. But like, I mean, he ended up in the game that he played 2C, he's like on the scoreboard. That being said, I always get anxious about going long term on any player that's like over 30. It is like slotted into your butt. Like, again, he could slot up and play 3C. Ideally, if you're winning a Stanley Cup, he's on your 4th line. And
Right.
you have a fourth line that can play not just like 4, 5, 6 minutes, but you have a fourth line that you have the ability to roll 4, which again, in theory, this team is building towards being that team again. I always get anxious about the long-term contract, and again, like as great as he was as far as like the fit goes, I don't know if it's necessarily like a player that's irreplaceable. I don't know if you really want to have all of those older players under contract still in your bottom 6. And I mean, we saw the issue with speed being a major problem for this team in the playoffs.
Yep.
It's that the Colorado series exposed them completely. So again, you get him for less than $3.5 million. You know, you love that deal for the Wild. Same time, the 5 years is always going to make me interested going long term on a player that age. And again, it's not like he's completely irreplaceable. Like I know one of my favorite follows who Isha I know loves too, Thomas Drance. He's been advocating hard for Vancouver to go like low term, big dollar amounts at a lot of like free agents this offseason specifically to like be able to flip and McCarron rocks. So he was like I would literally give him like
7x2.
He was like throwing those kind of contracts out. I was like, I love where Drance's head's at.
No, that is actually, I think that's a brilliant way to approach it if you're a team like the Canucks, for sure. Plus, just the reaction in the market of like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But again, so like, let's say they make this happen, or well, at this point, it is all but done from what Russo and Joe have both been saying. You're going to have, he's locked up. You got Foligno for a couple more years, Harvard for a couple more years, Sturm's on another, one more year, I guess. And we'll see how they fill out the bottom. Again, I'm at the point now where I've been advocating for like, I don't care if they're 100% ready to be impact NHL players yet. I need Hunter Haight in this lineup next year. But I don't know how many more times I have to say it. I'm sick of people talking about how bad the drafting's been on there for the defensemen after everyone thought they were great. Like there hasn't been shit for them to fucking like go. There's not been a single minute for them to go play.
How do you know if they're good? And no, if Haight and Bobby Brink don't get time next year, I'm gonna just lose it.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. I'm 100% on board with bringing McCarron back, but I don't think you can do it if you have all of those older, slower players still in your lineup, taking spots from younger players with some like legit upside and skill.
Yeah, and I don't think Guerin will view it this way, but the second that you put ink to paper for McCarron, you're not considering Nick Foligno anymore. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's sacrilege. I'm sorry. I know they're brothers, but like, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
An exercise that I'm not personally capable of, but someone like a Shayna Goldman, maybe. I want to have like a deep dive on who are young-ish players that can play like a Zuccarello style game. Just how can we find someone that can maybe fit that mold that's available, affordable, whatever. I'm not expecting to jump in and be a Matt Zuccarello day one, but how can we start trying to get younger and fill that type of a void? Do you have any names that come to mind? Because again, for me, it's a bigger order.
Like around the league, yeah, no, nothing up top of my head like immediately. Yeah, no, I mean, I was just reading something else. Off the top of my head, I don't have like a player in mind.
We made comes in with Kane ? It's like, well, fit, sure, definitely not younger.
Mm-hmm.
And Thomas, didn't Russo say Sturm could be moved for Nick to come back? Like, sure, but again, I guess our argument here is that McCarron should be plugged in as your 4C, not your 3C. And if he's your 4C, I don't know what business Nick Foligno has coming back. Because if you look at him, Trenyan, McCarron, other Foligno, you just can't be that slow in your bottom six.
Right.
All of those guys are like good players. You could probably only afford to have 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe four, but then you have to prioritize guys like Haight, Brink, whatever, to be slotted in on those lines so you're not completely bludgeoned with inability to skate.
Right.
Were you surprised at all to hear that Zuccarello may not be coming back?
I mean, yes and no. Like, again, this is something right before we started, I was like kind of saying it. I know it's a sensitive subject, obviously, but like part of me has been wondering, and it was like exacerbated by when he was out after taking the Myers elbow to the head. I was like, at what point do the Wild have to be like, okay, we need Kaprizov to just know that he's playing without Zuccarello here? Obviously, like, it's gonna, like, you need in theory to have someone that's going to step in and play right away. Because like Zuccarello could still bring it. He's like somehow, what is he now? 38, 39, about to be 40, something like that. He still put up like 50, 60 points. I'm like, this guy is just, he just keeps doing it. He can't keep getting away with this. But part of me is wondering, like, at some point the Wild have to know, or like Kaprizov has to be able to show that he can be Kirill Kaprizov and not like be completely miserable without Matt Zuccarello and be able to play like a $17 million player, which I don't know if any player in the league could play like a $17 million player, but again, like so that part of me, I'm like, I'm not completely out on it. Again, right now, you look at the free agent market, sucks. And the trade market is basically, we're going to move everything we possibly have left for Dylan Larkin. So at that point, what are we doing? Outside of like bringing Brink up in the lineup, depending what the trade for Larkin looks like, maybe Boldy and Kaprizov on the same line again. I don't know. But that's the thing. Like, part of it is just like, at some point, you're going to have a lineup that has Kirill Kaprizov and not Matt Zuccarello in it. In theory, who knows? Maybe the guy will play till he's fucking 60. But that's just like where they're going to have to like get to eventually here. And weirdly, despite the fact that it didn't look great when Zuccarello was out for those games in the playoffs, I was like, I mean, I'm curious about it this offseason. Like, maybe you just have to do it. Like, I think year one of this contract, he's going to have to do it eventually here. I wouldn't be completely opposed to it. Obviously, I love Zuccarello. He can still play. But if they were to say, like, hey, we just can't make this one work. Because, I mean, the guy also, it's not like he's earned a pay decrease.
Right. So then where does Zuccarello go? He's going to get like the Vancouver-esque treatment, but it's going to be like a 6x2, and it's either going to be Philly or Montreal.
He can come in and take Arvidsson's spot in Boston. Yeah, okay, I'll take him over here.
No, you don't have a young stud Russian winger. That doesn't work. Doesn't fit my narrative.
Do have a young stud Russian center, though. Thank you, Billy.
All right, I'll allow it. Although, I don't know. Can Zuccarello play with another height-deficient player like that?
Find out.
Okay. I would love that for you if you went to Boston.
I just want to keep getting like the Boston Minnesota pipeline. Just somehow the trades just keep happening. I'm like, woo! I always have one of my boys.
Trenyon's up next, according to the chat. I personally don't want to see him go. I think him getting hurt actually was a pretty big blow for the Wild in the playoffs. He was playing some pretty good hockey after his first year being about as bad as it could have gone. Matt Felton, even if we fix our issue with the 1C, let's say we get Larkin, what are we doing at winger on both first and second line? Honestly, I think that can be a trial and error thing. If you've got Larkin playing with Kaprizov and you've got Ek playing with Boldy, assuming that Ek's not part of any kind of trade there for Larkin, I'm okay rolling it and seeing who fits where.
Mm-hmm.
Like I if that's our biggest concern after acquiring Larkin, I'm okay with that. It is absolutely something that needs to be addressed. I'm not discrediting it, Matt. Like we need to figure it out. I'm way less pressed to have an immediate answer for that. And that's something that can be figured out rolling different guys through during the season. You can acquire wings a lot easier than you can acquire D and centers. So I personally like that's a great problem if that's where we land.
Yep. And then realistically, we know we just talked about potentially Zural not being on the team anymore, but
right, that's kind of what the point was, I think, with Matt is like, so we need to fill the first line and second line like sidekicks for Boldy and Kaprizov. What do we do? Right. I'd sell the rest of the farm for Dorofeev or Nyes.
On Dorofeev, we'll talk a little bit about the Cup final here shortly, but like,
yeah,
or at some point, anyways. Maybe it was me just having a bad couple scrolls during the Cup final so far. People that are saying that Pavel Dorofeev can't do anything other than like put the puck in the net. First of all, that's not a bad thing. Number two, he's a fucking animal. Like the amount of turnovers he's created on the forecheck, like he's been a fucking beast. He's been so good. And yes, like the best part of his game is the fact that he's an absolute howitzer attached to him. And he can fill the net. But he has been so fucking good, and there's been so many little plays he's made too with the puck. Like he's not it's not like if he's scoring goals, he's giving you nothing. I saw I think I literally just had a couple bad scrolls where it was like Dorofeev, if he's not scoring, he sucks. I'm like, not true. Incorrect.
Yeah. I selfishly need Edmonton, which it won't happen because let's be real, their GM is an absolute dunce, but offer sheeting Dorofeev would be the sweetest revenge for the nonsense with Bruce Cassidy. That would rock so hard. Although they're reverse punishing themselves by exploring Babcock. That's a whole different freaking topic.
They're like, oh, you think the NHL hates you, Vegas? Hold our beer.
Man. Just wild. Want to address this because I've seen this pop up so many times and it's kind of irking me. And Urban, not calling you out. This is something I've seen from a lot of people. Could have drafted Nyes. Dumbass took Peart instead. And like, I'm sorry. Matty Nyes was ass his draft year. He just was. Like, there were high hopes for him going into that season, and he didn't deliver in any meaningful way. Then, of course, he goes to the Gophers, and things look totally different, and that's great. But, like, to look back and be like, God, should have drafted Nyes. What a moron. Like, I have seen that all over from people that want to shit on Judd Brackett, and I'm just not here for it. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far. Like, I think the opinions on Nyes were literally all over the map.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember the second half of this draft, was he in Tri-City? I think that's where he was. Yeah, that's where he was in this draft year. The second half was really good. Like, the opinions were literally all over the place. I have to go back and try to find my own, what I was thinking. But, I mean, like, there was rankings anywhere from like late first to like late third. Like it was all over the place. And it was like, hey, then this kid should be a stud. He's probably going to be if he can just figure it out. Obviously he did.
Dude, how about that trade offer though?
Peart was still a calculated gamble where it was like, yeah, he's undersized, but look at the tools he's got. Look how good he was.
I'm not defending the Peart pick either. I'm just saying, like, to not take Nyes, it like wasn't like this obvious, like, oh, what a fucking idiot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how bad was that trade package that almost went through if they didn't miss the deadline?
Well, I didn't see it. What the actual package was.
Oh man, let me find it and pull it up for you because it was a doozy. Let's just do Nyes trade. All right, so the Habs would have received Matthew Nyes. Leafs would have gotten Alexander Zhuravsky, prospect that didn't matter, and then 2 first-round picks.
Say Zurovsky?
Huh?
Say Zurovsky doesn't matter?
Yeah. No. It's Zhuravsky, and then it just said prospect. Like it to like indicate that the next prospect was just like a throw-in. Like
I was about to jump through the computer.
Zhuravsky, prospect, 2 firsts. I'm not saying Zhuravsky's nothing, but I'm also not saying that it's sufficient for a nice trade. Or do you disagree? Is he that good?
I mean, I really, really liked them draft -1 in his draft year, and then this year's been a fucking absolute stud in Russia. But I mean, Matthew Nyes, so I don't know.
All right. Well, moving on. The last thing, and I don't know if Mateo threw an overlay in for this before I left. I don't think he did. So we'll just stick with generic Minnesota, but we do have to say goodbye and give our greatest condolences to the LaPanta household in these trying times. Their favorite son is returning to Sweden.
Jojo.
No, it's Mojo. Z, you don't know anything. It's Mojo.
I will literally remain. I remain on standby, ready to fight. I will never forget that. But
the people going out of their way to like correct you. It's okay if people are saying Mojo and like don't know, but like you saying Jojo, they're like, it's Mojo, you idiot. Like, look.
I should have started DMing. I should have started DMing them back. Be like, it's on site. Send location. And then I will never forget when they actually posted the picture of his stick and it said JoJo. And I was like, I fucking told everybody.
That's too good. But yeah, Marcus Johansson going back, Färjestad. I wonder what he's getting paid over there. Like, do they throw money for NHLers to come back or not really?
They'll give him a good. I don't know what they would, but they will definitely give him a legit salary. I don't even know what kind of contract he's on as far as like it's just a 1 year or whatever, but good for
Cosgrove with the Barbie cut. I love it. Marcus's Mojo Dojo.
But I love JoJo. Also was on the receiving end of some really unwarranted fucking shit over the last couple of years, especially like anyone that has had anything bad to say. Like second half, you can say what you want about like how it gets, but either way, that motherfucker was making less than $1 million,
right?
And he put up what did he put up this year? 40 something, whatever he did. He had a great year, so love the guy.
Z attack. You gotta attack Ron.
Come on, Ron. It's JoJo. Just say it's JoJo.
It's Christina.
Yeah,
you come to my house. You get my wife's name right.
Get my wife's name right.
That's one I might have to bring up. I don't know if anyone on here that is a Gopher fan. We just had last week Brett Larson jump on Fellowship of the Rink, and the biggest learning there is that he loves Will Ferrell, and I'm probably going to be exchanging a lot of Will Ferrell quotes with him in post-game pressers. So,
love that.
But that one, though not Will Ferrell, Will Ferrell's there. He's not the one saying it, but it fits. It works. All right. I'm trying to keep up on things here. For everyone's knowledge, Mateo is not with us for the rest of the show, so I am responsible for trying to manage the chat. So please bear with me. Is there anything else we want to talk about Minnesota Wild specifically, or was it really just McCarron and a lot of Larkin at this point?
Yeah, I mean, like,
nice pull. Nice pull, Thomas.
Nice. I think those are the two big ones, really. / only ones. It was interesting that in the so right before you jumped on, I was finishing the mailbag that Russo and Joe did. It was interesting the fact that they had went out of their way a couple weeks ago at least to ask Hendricks and the Wild just about Iowa specifically.
I would love to know more about that.
Well, I mean, like Hendricks was like, he basically was like, well, just so everyone knows, it is all I worry about at this point. He goes,
that's actually an awesome answer.
I was like, that rules. He's like, don't worry, it's not as if no one's thinking. It's quite literally all I think about at this point moving forward. But I mean, he did make some good points. Like last 30 games of the year, they was like a 600 points percentage. The players actually all commented that they really liked playing for Cronin. I think he is a good AHL. Like the NHL, it's like when you're like coaching legit NHL guys, like it's just not that's not in his bag, obviously. But they all basically, like, the long story short was like, he's harsh, but he's fair. Like, he's really hard on us, but he's also super positive at the same time. But like, he is hard. Like, he's hard to play for, but we like it's a good balance. And again, if you just watch the games as the year went on, they got significantly better. I would have loved it if they could have kept Olausen around, by the way. So I know it sucks that he's gone. But they did start performing really well. Second half of the year, they were 500 again. Last 30 games or so, they're right around the 600 points percentage. So like things are trending the right direction. It's just like I continue to be worried about how many guys end up just getting overcooked down there, and what's the plan long term as far as what's the right balance, bringing in guys that are like career AHL guys, but like 50, 60, 70 points in the AHL the whole career. Like those are players you're going to probably have to throw like bigger AHL contracts at. And usually they'll have like one or two guys. Like I remember last year that Fogarty was there. I think he was one of the only guys on Iowa making like 150 grand in the minors. But it's like stuff like that. So we'll see. But I did like the answers that Hendrick gave, and it's true. Like again, the fact that players had significantly more positive comments after the season, and like low bar. But it's true. Like they did get significantly better by the end of the season, because like first 20, 25 games, I was just like, oh, I didn't think it could get worse. I didn't know that was in the cards, but here we were at that point. But it was just interesting though to kind of read through that answer from Hendricks in the Wild specifically.
No, I enjoy that very much so. One random trade thing that's popped in my head for the Wild. I don't even know what I would want in return or what it looks like, but if money was a thing, or if you wanted to bring guys up and actually give them a chance, which, let's be real, Garen's never really thought that way, but I don't hate the idea of sending a Jake Middleton back to San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would actually be a really good influence in that locker room, especially, I mean, I think they have like one or two defensemen under contract next year, so they need some, but that's where he came from. He's proven he can play alongside good players, and I don't know. I don't think that he's out the door just because of this postseason, but I know a lot of fans want him to be.
Yeah. I'm just so desperate to clear paths for younger players to come in and like get runs here. And like realistically, if we start the season and that third pair has both Bogosian, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna happen too.
And again, like Damon Hunt, NHL player, clearly an NHL fucking defenseman at this point. We got one NHL game of Carson Lambos. Even Russo in that article was like, he's gone, basically. He's for sure. I'm like, God damn it. Come on. Spot check, ready to play, probably. Like, I'm just like losing my mind. And every once in a while, I will get either a DM or a tweet sent at me. He's like, remember when you were raving about those defensive prospects? You're an idiot. But I'm like, all right, at least you didn't swear at me. That was nice. It's also like funny. Sometimes they'll just like, LOL, moron. Like, for a take of mine 4 years ago.
That'll get you.
But again, it's also like outside of just looking at like the Larkin trade, though, they do need to start reacquiring like quantity of chips to play with. Like, you're not going to snap your fingers overnight and go back to having like a top 10 prospect pool in the league, obviously. As you continue contending, that's not going to happen. And you're also not going to have all those picks. You're not going to have any, ideally, you're not going to have any like top 10 picks either.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them start like moving pieces, acquiring like different, or like even if it's like middle, like second, third, fourth, fifth round picks. More you get, you can move up a little bit. You can play without more. Like you can just bring. You have more options, obviously, outside of like every move. Now that we have almost no assets, like every move at that point becomes more and more critical. It's like for you to nail it out, because then you have what you have, then you have nothing else. Like as far as futures go, so.
And to Cole's point here, do you think that this is a Bill Guerin thing? Is it the coaches? Like, why don't young kids get in any looks? Or is it just that they have that good of a roster that you can't possibly sneak any prospects in?
I don't know. I look at like specifically like from 2022 to today, probably 2022, 2023, up until like present day, like when some of those contracts were signed for players who were like 29 plus, the prospects weren't ready yet. But then they got like 4 years, like the older players were getting like 4-year cut, like they're getting the 4x4, the Billy G special. And then like when they're like entering the playoffs, they were trying to bring in some pieces, so they gave up more. And then some of those guys stuck around. Some of those guys were already on like another contract beyond like the deadline. It wasn't just like a rental. So I think the timing's been weird. I just like when I've looked at the approach as far as when guys are getting looks. Like for me, again, like Lambeau should have got more than one NHL game. So like I know people have soured on him very much. So I get
especially when he like played a good game.
He's ready.
He didn't have a bad game.
No, he had one really good game. He was really good. The one game, it was great. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was a big fan of it. I'd like to see him get another look, but it's just not gonna. And again, like it's hard to judge any of them playing that fucking Iowa thing. It was so bad. Sorry,
Cole apologizes. He says those are all his burner accounts sending you the DMs.
I knew it was you. It sounded like you, every single one of them.
It's fitting. Oh, man. I don't know. Matt has commented a couple of times here about how Guerin is definitely expecting young guys to crack the lineup. Where is this coming from? What is the source? I need to know where this is coming from because I just
no. He said that he did. And I'm like,
but like I don't believe.
Is there a new rule? Is there a new rule where we're gonna have there's 5 forward lines and 4 defensive pairs? Like
no, a new rule. You have to play at least 2 players with under 100 NHL games per night. Karen's like, fuck.
You get the Black Aces in the regular season, except they're on the bench and they can play still.
Oh man.
But yeah.
There's a lot of comments coming through, and I can't find the original one, but I'll just go to this one here from Matt. Oh wait, no, not Matt. Thomas. Apparently, Kosa is getting moved to Edmonton.
I mean, is this
like apparently that's happening right now online? I haven't been following stuff since we've jumped on, but there's been a couple of comments about like, wait, is Kosa actually being traded to Edmonton? So that's interesting. Moving the way for a Wallstedt trade. I really don't see a Wallstedt trade happening this summer unless it's one that you can't say no to.
Mm-hmm.
Like Wallstedt for Larkin 1-for-1, sure. And
I'm just going through. I'm trying to figure out how many of these Twitter accounts are fake. I can't tell.
Yeah. Don't know.
One of the accounts that keeps tweeting it out.
What if we're getting pranked though?
That's the thing. Well, one of the Twitter accounts, their bio is, I am a sports analysis lawyer and a part-time weed ambassador. They have 29 followers. So that's a good source in my opinion.
Double digits. I'm in. Interesting. Okay. Minnesota Wild. Is that done and done? Or is there anything else we want to hit on? And this is your last chance. People, throw in the comments right now if there's something you want us to address for the Wild. Otherwise, we're moving on to Cup Finals / draft in some order. Was there anything we missed here for you, Z?
Nope.
All right. So let's go. Trying to figure out what Mateo's got in here for us. Sure. Crank off. Here we go. What the hell was that? Brag that shouldn't be a brag because it's dumb betting practice, but games 1 and 2 of this series, as soon as either team went up 2 goals, I bet on the other one and got really good odds and made money. Game 3, I refused. I even posted on Twitter saying this is working so far, but I don't really see anything from Carolina that indicates that I should do this. And they fucking did the thing. Literally the second they scored that goal, it's oh, we're good at hockey again. And they fucking piss pounded Vegas. I think my biggest takeaway from this is, holy shit, is Vegas lucky that they squeaked this one out? Because if not, I don't know how you come back from getting ravaged the way they did, giving up a 4-0 lead.
And Carolina had a couple great A's in overtime too. That being said, just as a side note, imagine my surprise as someone who was watching at the drop and decided to go take a piss 5 seconds before Carolina scored their first goal. And then my phone buzzed 3 times. I was like, what? No way. And I come out 4-3. I was like, what the hell happened in there? I've been gone for less than 2 minutes. I'm oh, that's because they scored 3 in 30-something seconds. Obviously, you get that game time goal. My biggest takeaway so far is this is an absolute banger. And for me, I know I've seen some people talk about I just want there to be more hate and hits or whatever. I don't know. This feels about what 2 teams that make it to the Stanley Cup final. The hockey has been so fucking good. And obviously, there's also just a million storylines. Biggest one being Mitch Marner. The fact that he unloaded on a half breakaway the clap bomb, I was oh, he has rid himself of the stink that is in Toronto, and he is feeling it, and it's fucking awesome. Also, again, I don't think there's going to be, regardless of how this turns out, I don't know how many ballots will have Shea Theodore in the Conn Smythe conversations. He should firmly be top 3, and it's not close for me.
Sure, but it's also
I'd have to go back and watch
1.
all of his shifts again. Well, yeah, I know exactly, especially after fucking Marner puts up 4 points in that third game. But and Kennedy would catch him. Who knows at this point? But
honestly, if Carolina wins, I might cash that ticket.
The first 2 games, at least, and I mean, he was excellent in game 3 as well. But first 2 games, the best player on the ice was Shea Theodore. He has been fucking believable.
He's really changed his game, though. He did not used to be that strong defensively.
Right. Well, the defensive game has taken. He has leaps and bounds better. And he was always good, but it was now this is just, he is a
he drives a minivan.
Elite 2-way. But even then, people were wondering what's going to happen with Pietrangelo. What's since he's been in Vegas, he has been one of, if not the best puck moving D-men in the league. Pietrangelo's done. And it's all of a sudden Shea Theodore's let me be better defensively, and I will take over as far as transport the puck, puck moving D-men. Was always good at it, but he firmly stepped up. Was oh, don't worry about it. I can just do the things that Pietrangelo was doing before. So for me, Shea Theodore, absolutely deserves at least some, if not a lot, of Conn Smythe love, because he has just been so fucking good for Vegas. Whole playoffs, but I mean, first 2 games at least, he was the best player on the ice.
That's fair. I also think that, and this feels weird because I've kind of just grown to be numb to him, but I feel like there's one player for Carolina that has been ignored, not given proper respect, and I've seen a lot of people kind of just popping out recently talking about him. Do you know who I might be referring to?
No.
Jordan Staal has been a fucking
he's been an animal. He's been so good, yeah.
And I guarantee you he is on no one's ballots, even if Carolina wins. Like, he's just that's probably top 3 saddest departures for me for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Especially the way it happened too. Now, granted, he went to Carolina when his brother was there, so it was like kind of cool, but it's like on his wedding day, he gets the call saying, "Yeah, dude, you're gone." But also, you're going to get paid a lot of money, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I loved Jordan Staal. I really did. And man, he is like the perfect 3C for any cup contender. He deserves a lot of credit. And I think the way that him and Ehlers have played together in like such an unconventional way, like you wouldn't expect that to be a pair, they have been lights out. They have played so well. And it's going to suck for Carolina when, like, if they lose this series, to look back and be like, holy shit, if our first line even was like the smallest shred of our first line, we win. And granted, Aho like looked okay last game, whatever. Like, that first line has been a fucking problem throughout the postseason. It just hasn't mattered because they haven't played real teams until now. And it's just such a shitty way to go down when things are looking great. You're right there. It's a close matchup. And, oh, wait, our best players fucking suck.
Yeah, no, that's what we were talking about before the series started, was like that line needs to get going. I mean, obviously game 2, they were good. And I mean, they've had flashes, but not from your top line, guys that you need to be your best players, realistically, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup. It's brutal. But yeah, we'll see how many more changes they want to make in game or whatever, because like Rod usually does like to do some changes in game, but then go back to what he feels secure doing. So we'll see how many more changes, or like how many changes he'll make and like be happy to stick with. But who knows at this point? It's just been weird that it has not really clicked consistently. Who knows? Maybe they're dealing with something. I have no idea. But also, it doesn't help for they're playing this Vegas team that clearly was just like a sleeping giant, and they are like the fact that one of the best players on the ice for them as well, by the way, has been Braden McNabb. Warrior.
He's been a difference maker, and holy fuck that scar.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here's LeBron like, ow, my shoulder hurts a little bit because someone ran into me.
But McNabb has been, and thank God he came back for Vegas. Obviously, he comes back, 2 more assists in that in game 3,
which is not what you expect from him at all.
No, he's had like a couple of multi-point games here in the playoffs now, but also just eats the toughest fucking minutes. Like, he is out there on that penalty kill, and obviously, like, he gets hit in the face with the puck, and all of a sudden Carolina scores a couple on the power play that game, which had been a big problem for them, obviously, because McNabb is out there like eating all of the PK minutes and just doing a whole lot of heavy lifting on that back end, and obviously hitting every single thing that moves. Like, always called him, respectfully, the Easter Island guy.
Respectfully.
But he has been ungoddamn believable for them in this playoffs, dude. Especially the series. So shout out Braden McNabb.
No, he deserves all the credit. He's the fucking warrior, and I guess it's between him and William Karlsson for who's going to be the longest standing misfit, right?
And so impressive that Karlsson came back after so much time off and just like adjusted for a game or two.
No
he's
problem.
like, yeah, no,
Yep.
I'm still more than fine. By the way, I'll also put up a couple points actually. Now that I feel like it, I'm like, okay, this guy. I don't know. It just feels like right now, it's just everything as the playoffs went on, especially everything just started clicking for Vegas to the point now where they're like a terrifying hockey team. And then, fortunately, Carolina's also incredible. So this has just been a fucking unbelievable Stanley Cup final. Thank God. So I need 7 of these games.
Agreed.
And it does just feel like what really this is like the as far as like regardless of the matchup, just the performance level for both teams so far and how good the games have been and how many like little plays have ended up being just it's like the definition of playoff hockey for me, really.
Yeah.
And like how many different players are just getting so much love now and like really showing out. I love it.
And how about the ones that aren't getting love? And like we don't need to go deep on this, but I just have to bring it up because it's literally all that I see on my timeline, and I know you're probably as annoyed as I am. It's basically turned into the Carter Hart is either a rapist or he is the Dalai Lama, and there's no in between. Like,
yeah,
the discourse online is fucking absurd. And I'm not sitting here telling anyone that they should or shouldn't support Carter Hart, but like literally everything that I see online is either, oh, he's the greatest human. He was absolved of his sins. He was not arraigned in court. And then on the other side, it's like he should be given the death penalty 7 different times. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's okay if you want to be mad that he's in, but some of the things that people say is just obscene on both sides, supporting and opposing. So I'm very over it. I don't want to see any more of it. I'm just glad that we've reached a point where there's no world where, like, if Vegas wins, it's Mitch Marner's Conn Smythe. I was very worried partway through the third series there with Colorado. I'm like, fuck, this guy could win the Conn Smythe. Then we've got a whole blow up on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully we don't have that. That's at least out the door.
Sorry, I meant to mention too. You just brought up like guys that aren't getting love. Some of the two of the best players for Carolina, by the way, that I would like. You should fucking absolutely slot them higher out the lineup if the first line continues to not work out. On paper, it doesn't make sense, but fucking Will Carrier and Eric Robinson have been insanely good.
That's not even the guys I thought you were going to say, but yes, agreed.
2 of the more electric players for Carolina, especially in this series.
Yeah.
They should be getting more minutes. Like, fuck it. Like, try them higher up in the lineup. Like, I don't care. Like, those are guys that absolutely deserve a look higher up the lineup. They should be playing them more in general. They're still playing, obviously, a good amount, but they've just been 2 of the best players for Carolina the first 3 games here. Game 3 is different, but whatever. Those are the 2 guys specifically that I'd be like, hey, we need to make some changes. At the very least, these guys should be getting more minutes, if nothing else. But they've both been so good.
They had a lot of guys at the bottom of their lineup that it's like, damn, like, do we just get rid of the first line? Like, what? It's so hard to explain what's going on. Like, it makes no sense that their first line has been what it's been. But I do think that it's unfortunate, I guess, that they've been that bad throughout the postseason. It just didn't matter before. But, like, you have to give credit to Vegas for completely boxing them out, too. Like, it's not like it's not a easy task going up against Vegas, but I don't know. It would have been really interesting if Carolina pulled out that comeback win and Vegas completely crumbled. Now we've got a really interesting game 4 that pretty much decides the series. Like, if Vegas wins this, I just don't see a world where Carolina can win 3 straight. Carolina wins it, it's anybody's series. Like, it really becomes a very interesting matchup at that point. And I think the biggest question, it seems like people are leaning towards Bussy, but like, who do you start in game 4? Because I don't blame Anderson for that game. Do you?
Right. No,
but also Bussy looked fucking good, and Anderson might be tired. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also weird to be tired if you've literally played 4 and 5. Was that their run? So like kind of a tough look if you're a goalie and you're tired after that in the cup final, but teach their own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you don't start Bussy.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm an Anderson supporter too, but like, how do you not start Bussy after that? Especially because, as dumb as it sounds, we've seen a lot of misplay with goalie rotations in this postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Wild, Avalanche, to name a few. At least if it goes poorly and it was the wrong decision, it's not an elimination game. But goddamn, is it a pivotal game? And if you're Carolina, it is must win. Or I don't know. Would you say is it a must win game or is it a can't lose game?
I would go can't lose. Feels like I can't lose.
I can live with that. I can accept it.
Mm-hmm. I should have mentioned just because I realized after I was like, when I mentioned Eric Robinson and Will Carey, obviously Will Carey got hurt quite early in that last game, and I think Rod had no update or whatever. But either way, point remains with Eric Robinson. He's been so fucking good.
Yes, fair.
Obviously, gets another assist in that last game too.
Anything else worth pointing out going into Game 4, or do we turn the page to the NHL draft?
Oh, I forgot we have draft stuff still. Yeah, I might as well go to the draft.
We got to keep it short. We can keep it short, man. Looks like Mateo has something on here called draft cues. Do we want to start with draft questions or looking at blue line prospects? I have no idea what the overlay shows. All right, let's just go draft cues. Let's start there. Oh, camera. Oh, draft. Got it. Draft questions at the Combine. Combine questions. Cam Robinson, with the 30-second countdown clock ticking, they asked players to name as many uses as they could for a brick. For reference, Keaton Verhoff named 8. Pretty impressive. I'm absolutely the loser that the second that I learned about this, I hit my stopwatch timer and I did the 30 seconds. I also hit 8 under zero pressure. 8 for Keaton Verhoff is fucking incredible. That's beyond insane for uses for a single brick. I love that. I do love though, Z, that who was it? Was it BR maybe? Came out and was like, guys, you need to hear about this. A player was asked about killing someone for a water bottle. It's like, yep, that happened a year ago too. You fucking idiots. That sucks. But there's been stacking golf balls on top of each other to test like focus, determination, not quitting on a task. Then there was the one, I can't remember which player it was. I know a couple of players mentioned that they did it, but there was one, God, I feel like it was either Malhotra or Verhoff that said they were given a puck and told they had to chuck it into a garbage. Show me how far you're willing to go from the garbage to do it. And they like both went to the far corner of the room to do it. And they're like, oh, by the way, if you miss, we're never going to draft you. They both missed.
They both spike it off the ground. They just spike the puck.
I also have to imagine that these were teams that like were not in range to pick either of them. So it makes it even like funnier, but kind of a weird move to be like, oh yeah, if you miss, we'll never draft you. Like, really? Okay. I'll call your bullshit. Like, fuck you. I do think that we should just like, I think we need to have one episode this summer when there's nothing to talk about and just go through ridiculous questions that should be asked at the next combine that we will funnel over to our overlord Judd. I also, side tangent, I feel like through this draft, we keep Judd'z Budz and then we change the name. We got to finish out the season. We got to get through it. And we're, as much as I know several contributors to this channel hate the Leafs, we're loosely going to be a Judd support Leafs group for the draft. It's gonna happen. You like Gavin McKenna. You do.
Uh-huh.
So you can cheer for that.
Nope.
But yeah, he's not in. That's understandable. But yeah, I think we change the name after the draft. I think that's the appropriate move. Unless Judd's like, hey, I'll come on like 2 weeks after the draft. It's like, all right, we're Judd'z Budz for at least 2 more weeks.
All right. Well, now we have a third chair joining every week.
Yeah. No, he is the chair. We're just there. Cosgrove, they should do the marshmallow test.
I have that's one thing. I'm down this summer definitely to come up with our own questions, obviously. But I'm at the point now where I've become angry at the tweets about the questions. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, they're gonna ask a bunch of fucking ridiculous questions. At this point, they're clearly all doing it to like try to be more ridiculous than everyone else. And I'm like, okay, right. I don't care about this. I don't give a fuck about this anymore. And then like that, the combine has changed as far as importance or whatever, like dramatically over the past however many years, but the amount of emphasis on the questions now, I'm just like, okay, can we, okay. I just want to know some things about some of the individual like strength performances, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to see which prospect is like ranking high and like pretty much every, like it's just fun to find out who's like a freak athlete. And realistically, teams will never admit it, but the thing that they are absolutely in their seat, like really getting fired up about, is heights and weights. Which,
yeah, right.
They should be embarrassed how important they think it is, but here we are.
Yeah, it is.
It is the one thing that they're like.
Well, I love too, like.
They say 5'9" and 3/4
today, and I suggest everyone. I don't always enjoy listening to the Athletic Hockey Show podcasts, like in general, but whenever they get the prospect group on, it's awesome. Like I really enjoy it's Wheeler, it's Pronman, and it's oh man, I'm embarrassed now. Chris Peters. Yes, I knew Chris. Why couldn't I come up with
Max.
Peters? But and Max, yes, they do a really good job, and I like that they do all have like very different viewpoints on a lot of things. But it was funny. Wheeler kind of brought up like, I'm really sick of people being like, oh, Ivar Stenberg, small guy, only 5'11", 185. Like, there's a lot of guys that are 185 in this league that fucking torch this league, and he's 18 years old. Like, let's stop talking about him like he's small. He's not. Like, he's fine. It's not a concern. And I know you're a big Ivar defender, so an extra little tickle there.
I think it's fine to like have, so like where I've always landed. I'm like, which is to the point where these GMs, these scouts, everyone working these teams, they should at least be able to just like watch the NHL, and then you can go back. All right, which undersized guys, like, why are they performing still at a level that, like, in previous iterations,
what are comparable
NHL,
traits?
These guys was also just like, you know what? All the small guys that perform really well in the NHL, you know what they have? They were all fucking dogs. Like, and I'm sorry, that's not really hard to fucking watch and identify. How good are they off puck? How good are they fucking like creating turnovers? Can they afford like? It's really not hard.
I do have one question for you, and I know it's always hard to look at things like without plugging in the hindsight of like what we know now, but I want you to go back to 2020, the first year that we did a draft show together. We celebrated the Marco Rossi pick. I want you to compare your opinions that day of Marco Rossi to what you think of Viggo Bjork today.
So 2021. Sorry.
I thought it was 2020. I'm almost positive.
I think you're right, actually.
Because 21 was
the year after
Wall
I was
Lambos,
really
right?
in deep. Yeah, no, that 2021 was the first year that we were live.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ross, I know I had top 5 for me, but he was like he went. The only thing that makes it really difficult is the fact that you have Viggo right now playing pro hockey in Europe versus Marco Rossi playing in the OHL. I think you probably feel more confident in Viggo's like NHL upside because like obviously we saw everything we saw from Marco Rossi, put up over 100 points in the O, defensive player of the year in the O. Like he was an absolute prick to play against. Like he was just a fucking dog in the O. Viggo does it in a completely different way where he's a dog, but it is one of the smartest hockey players I've ever seen in my life as far as like a kid that's draft eligible. And you just like listen to the comments from his coaches, his teammates, like everyone that's ever been around him. They're like, I just want to have his brain and like just his understanding of like he's a freak of nature. And it's to the point now where like pretty much every single list that you see out there has him firmly in their top 10.
Where is he for you today, this minute? What number is he?
Probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
And whatever, people can be freaked out about him being a 5'9" center. Chris Peters says it best. He's like, he's just a fucking hockey player. Like, it's like, just watch him. Like the way that he is able to just read offense, read defense. Like he is just like picking people apart. And like even being 5'9", he's still somehow leveraging his weight, creating turnovers. Like he's below the dots. Like he's a freak of nature. Like the kid's incredible. And I mean, again, we talked about the World Juniors, and like everyone was going nuts about all the highlight reel plays from Stenberg. Viggo Bjork was like their most consistent player.
He was their best player,
like start to finish.
Yeah, easily. And it's funny too because I was at the summer showcase, met up with a lot of the prospect guys, like went out and had beers with Wheeler, Peters, all them. And I told Wheeler like the things that we had talked about with Viggo Bjork, where it's like, man, I really like him as a top 10 guy. If I was ballsy, I'd say top 5, but like that's never going to happen with his height. But yeah. And I told him that he's like, and now he's like, fuck, he's a top 10 guy. What else do I say? He's a top 10 guy. Also, subtle plug, we got Scott Wheeler joining Fellowship of the Rink this week. Have not recorded yet, but definitely worth a listen because he rocks. I think that all of the guys on that panel are like really good talent evaluators with very different perspectives. He is my favorite to talk to. He is just like good dude, has a really good way of just explaining his stance on players too. But yeah, Wheeler's definitely my guy. Not to take anything away from the other guys, but Wheeler rocks.
Yeah.
Viggo. Every time I hear Viggo mentioned, my ears perk up. I'm 6'2".
Amen, Viggo.
Amen. Amen. Every time I hear Viggo mentioned, I think about our favorite shared player between Boston and Minnesota who got commandeered by the What Chaos podcast. You know who I'm talking about.
You cut out for a second, so I didn't hear you.
Oh, no. Well, I was talking about Jakob Lacko.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I go immediately to...
Let's go to Halloween.
Viggo Mortensen. That was a great fucking costume. Him as the Witch King of Angmar. That was great. I'm really sad that he got traded before we could have him on Fellowship of the Rink. Would have been a great appearance. Actually, we probably would have talked zero hockey, so people might have tuned out. So maybe it's better. There you go. I am biased on Vigo and Wheeler. I'm with you. They both rock. Anything else, just like general overarching draft concepts or anything from the combine that you want to address before we talk about defensemen? That was a quick no. All right, we're moving on then. Defensemen. And I'm always curious to see how Mateo comes up with these lists based on your past conversations. But defense. This is definitely a year that has a lot of good defensemen. We've seen, obviously, very recent years. Like you look at Z Buyam falling to 13, which no one had projected. That was a weird year of like who, depending on where people fall and how you feel about each prospect, defense could go anywhere. This is a year where there are a lot of defensemen with ranging skill sets, fitting a lot of different niches. First question, Z, just looking at what we have here. Don't worry about the order. Is there a name not on this list that Mateo has compiled that you're like, I'm upset that this person's not on this list?
But I think he just got it from the list I sent over in 2 seconds a couple weeks ago. But I mean, as far as guys not right in there that have like first round potential, like obviously Tommy Blale's one. Blale that comes up. 81 points this year with Moncton, head to Michigan State. Jesus Christ. Like that fucking team. I mean, I don't know, like
I got one in particular I'm going to ask about, but I'm going to let you continue first.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's pretty well aware of the guys ready to go early here. I'm always curious, and I know that they're on the list, and so it doesn't make sense as far as the question you just asked me. I'm curious to see how high Lynn and Villeneuve go. Villeneuve's upside is freakishly high. At the same time, he didn't have a great year. Got off to a really hot start. Didn't pan out super well. Very undersized, but he is a fucking dog. And as far as like skill level and pure upside goes, he is a easy like top 10 guy. So that's gonna be interesting. Ryan Lynn feels like a guy that does have upside that teams that at least a lot of like other people don't maybe appreciate as much, but like pretty high floor as well. Love that he's going to Denver. I think that's going to be an incredible, incredible landing spot for him.
Yeah,
and Jackson Rudolph also headed Denver. Jesus Christ,
that's gonna be fun.
Some of these, that's going to be a good time. But there are guys that I think have potential to go in the first round that I'm not so sure about. Like someone like a Nikita Sherbakov. I don't know what NHL teams think about this kid. I mean, he's like a 6 foot, 6'7" Russian.
6'3".
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of a different Russian kid. Sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking of a different one that I was gonna ask you about. So you're thinking of the right one. Yep. So do you remember the name of the one you're thinking of?
Oh God.
So I didn't even know about this guy, if I'm being honest, because I just didn't go that deep. But a guy that Scott Wheeler, Figo, you know you like that, said that this is a guy that he's heard from several scouts should go at the end of the first round. Maxim Sokolovsky.
Yeah, the kid from London. I think the opinions
going to Maine
for this kid are all over the map. I think he'll probably end up late first, early second. There's gonna be some serious questions about just how high that upside is. I know the guys over at Elite Prospects love him too. I think he's like a late first for them. He this year he's really flashed a lot of the tools. It was a uncharacteristically down year for London, and he played big minutes for them. To me, he looks like a NHL player, who's like a meat and potatoes guy, but he's got the size. He is a decent enough skater, and he's got some pop, so I can see it. At this point, I think a lot of NHL teams are like, yeah, no, we like him in the late first, early second range. So it makes sense. So I'd assume that that's probably where he lands. But as far as like, I mean, this is a draft where I'm like looking for the home run swings on upside if you're like picking later.
Yeah.
And so there's like a bunch of other guys that I would probably like. I'd rather take a swing on undersized Axel Elofsson, who probably won't even play in the NHL. But he is an unbelievably fun player for a Rebro over in Sweden. He's like 5'10", 5'11", maybe. Really offensive, makes a ton of plays, like probably logs almost 30 minutes a night for a Rebro. And some of the plays that he could make on the puck, he just makes people look silly, dances the blue line, really good skater, very electric. But I mean, just how many teams are really going to give him the rope for him to cook? I don't know. But I would probably still be more inclined, even if I'm like pretty confident Sokolovsky's going to be an NHL guy versus Elofsson, who a lot would probably have to go right for him to be like a full-time impact NHL player. But I just love the upside and the skill, what he could do with the puck. I'm probably more inclined to take a swing on that. Maybe not in the first round, but that's right. Cosgrove, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that's fair. The one I want to ask about on this list, because he's one that was really high in your way too early list. He's one of my favorite all-name team guys. I've heard a lot of guys sour on Juho Pipparainen.
Yeah, it's just a weird year, but you're looking at like a 6'3" right shot deep end who can skate. He's got a good motor, like excellent puck mover. So I still believe in the player. For me, probably gonna be a tail end of the first round guy when it's all said and done. But really good on breakouts, moves puck really well. It's just like some of the plays really broke it down inside the offensive zone. Super, super inconsistent, but he does flash some like really interesting skill, some really nice passes. Weirdly enough, like one of the things that stands out pretty much every time I watch it was like he just could fire off these hook passes that he pulls off. I'm like, I don't even know why he's doing it in this situation, but that went tape to tape. He just sent someone on a half break. That was electric. He just literally throwing no look hook passes in like in the neutral zone. It's like, all right, sure. But he's a really good puck mover, really good feet, inconsistent in the offensive zone. And if he can kind of like nail that side of his game down a little bit better, like just be more consistent, making better decisions, or if he's going to make a decision, just like be firm with it. Because there's so many times he gets like caught up, not sure what exactly he wants to do, which obviously ends up a lot of turnovers going back the other way. But he has it in his bag. Like he's got the size, got the feet, he's got the skill to like make plays, so he can do that more consistently. And I think he will. All
right.
But we'll see.
All right.
I think it's just like he started off really hot, and then just really like, especially after the World Juniors, I think that's when people really start sounding on him. Like the play was just like super inconsistent, but I still like the just the foundation of his game that he has.
Yeah, fair. Over under 12 defensemen taken in the first round this year.
Might be over.
There's a lot there. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing that we need to kind of crack down on, and I know there's a lot of ranging opinions on a lot of these guys, there's fit, whatever. I want to figure out kind of where your tier breaks exist in these groups. Am I correct in saying that the top 4 names of this group are your first tier, or do you see even players within that group rising above, or does it extend beyond 4? Like, where's your first tier?
Yeah, probably it's that. So yeah, that Villeneuve, Rudolph, Lynn are in the same zip code, and Gustafsson. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like based on everything you've said, Gustafsson's in the same group. So break down your top tier then. So it's for those listening on audio, it's Chase Reed, Keaton Verhoff, Carson Carrolls, Albert Smiths. Is that your order today?
Probably, yeah. It's
Okay.
all said and done. Chase Reed, like, there's going to be plenty of teams looking at him as a potential first overall, and I wouldn't fault them for it. 6'2" right shot, really good mover, super high end offensive tools. Defensive game still coming along. Obviously, another guy headed to Michigan State. Good Lord. But as far as looking at some right shot defensemen or like defensemen that have a chance to go first overall, and there's going to be like the positional thing too. You look at guys like Stenberg and McKenna, who are slotted 1 and 2 on most, if not all, lists. Most lists. You look at Chase Reed as a potential number 1 right shot defenseman. He's going to be in those conversations. Like, I know a lot of those teams are still debating it.
Can I ask, and this is maybe just a stupid, ignorant question, but if Chase Reed was left-handed, would he still be your top guy?
Yes, he's
okay.
He's insane.
I assume that. I'm just making sure, because obviously right-handed defenseman is always the premium. So I just didn't know if that gave him an extra notch, or if it's like, no, I don't care if he's zero-handed. Go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think everyone is pretty firm on, even if he doesn't become a true number 1 D, like he looks like that would be on that top pair, if not like firmly 3 or 4.
Second pair, first power play guy.
You can be on your second pair and be like, you can lean on him heavily for offense, and then hopefully a lot more of the defensive game continues to come along. But if not, whatever. Like, he's still ridiculously skilled. He's got a ridiculous shot, moves really well. Like, love what he brings as far as the upside goes. Keaton Verhoff is like becoming more and more like pure upside. I'm starting to have some more concerns about like the absolute floor. Like, decision making never really improved dramatically. This is me going back through Huddle, Instat, and watching a lot of his shifts again this year. It was really good at the World Juniors when they threw him in the lineup again. But for me, you can take a big time swing on that upside. It's a 6'4", another right shot defenseman, solid skater, not like elite skater, but solid. And one of those players that it's a weird thing, but like the retrievals and just the fact that you cannot forecheck against him is awesome. Like, he just never gets turned over behind his own net. Yeah. And again, the breakouts are solid, whether it's first pass or he could transport it himself. He did look more and more lost inside the offensive zone. Like, it was like the set plays, but he has an absolute howitzer from the point too. So again, you really like the upside and you're happy to take a swing on a kid like that. And the fact that he's at North Dakota, not a bad spot to continue to develop. I would let him go play another year there at least.
So my question here is twofold. For Verhoff, who, like, you were very much just like everyone, this isn't targeted at you, but it was kind of him and McKenna at the top of the draft last summer. Is the lack of production offensively outside of that howitzer, is that the biggest reason for him being more questionable, or is it that other defensemen have just risen and it's like, well, fuck, now I don't know who to take?
I'd say it's more other defensemen just continuing to really boost their stock. Same time, like, one of the things that we all had talked about coming in was, let's see how the decision making comes along. The defensive reads, like, neutral zone in his own end, regardless, whatever. And then inside the offensive zone, it was going to be interesting to see what he would do. Like, college hockey is so much different, obviously, than WHL.
Especially when you come in as a 17-year-old, right?
Yeah, youngest player in college hockey. Like, it's going to be a tough transition. But I would say, like, as far as like the defensive reads go, it probably just stayed the same. And then in the offensive zone, it was like flashes where he looked like he wanted to take over and like take pucks on the wall or hang on at the blue line, dance, and throw them forward. But like, obviously the shot was still there. So you still take a huge swing on the upside. So
no, that's fair.
You feel very good about taking him as one of the first D-men off the board.
So my flip on that then is, I've seen a lot of people saying that whether he's 1 or 2, Carson Carroll's is a guy that has slowly been ramping up. People have been warming to him. I don't know where because again, it's a group of Reed, Verhoff, Carroll, Smiths. Like, you won't be shocked if they go in any order there. But what separates Carroll's and why? Like, talk to me about the pros and cons of a Carson Carroll's.
I mean, the kid's a fucking nail gun. Like, you look at like some of the hits. Like, I would say he's got a whole lot more of aggression in his game, not just as far as like the big hits go, but him like going out and seeking contact versus like a Verhoff. But I mean, another really solid 6'2" puck mover, really good in the offensive zone, loves hanging on to pucks. It's like there's no, like, he's not waiting or like unsure. When he has the puck, he knows what he wants to do with it, which I love. And I mean, again, super physical, loves to engage physically, sometimes can go out of his way to engage. And it's like, maybe not there, don't do it there. But I mean, young defenseman, you can absolutely work with that. I cannot believe he's also heading to North Dakota, which is just sickening. Him and Ethan McKenzie,
I don't approve.
Off the same blue line, disgusting. But you know, and then in the offensive zone too, like he was getting like what he did going up against like every team's forward line as a draft -1. Young player, by the way. He's like, what is he? June, July? I think he has the same. Actually, I think he's the June birthday because I think he has the same birthday as me. But then he just like, they were like, how about we give you 5 more minutes per game in your draft year and more and you're going to be power play 1 quarterback. And yeah, obviously you're going to be on our first PK unit and you're going to go up against every single team's top line. And let's see how that goes. And he's just been feasting. Again, we'll see how the transition to college hockey goes. But for Prince George, he's been absolutely crucial. For that Prince George team. So I think obviously you look at Verhoff, the right shot, 6'4", the pure upside, all with him. But at the same time, you really feel good about the all-around game with Carroll. He still has some legit, insanely high upside, and he did it from start to finish. Like, he didn't really cool off at any point this year. So he's been super consistent. So I'm a huge fan of Carroll's.
No, for sure. And obviously the top 4 guys, it's not like you're sliding any of them. You've got to pick someone at some point. What do you make of this comment from Gopher Guru Eric Vigo? Making puck retrievals and starting the breakout in the NCAA is a next step. Grading offense in college is different. Draft evaluation for these guys will be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. The whole like offense creation for like especially defensemen going from the CHL to NCAA, it's always interesting. Like the retrievals and just like the breakouts, or just, can you transport it? How does your first pass? Like, what's your decision making once you get on the puck? But like the ability to avoid forechecks or just read the forecheck that's oncoming, knowing when to just like move it, when you can skate it out yourself, the ability to just like dodge, and again, clean breaks. That translates always pretty well, I would say, to the NHL. Like that's like part of the pain of me watching these fucking bullshit Boston Bruins in the playoffs most of the times. They just get slaughtered, and they would just invite pressure their own end. That's why like the retrievals, the ability to like break pucks out clean for defensemen, especially kids that are like 17, 18 coming into college hockey, going up against like a 24-year-old who's gonna like run you through the glass.
Yeah.
It's always interesting how they cope with it. I thought Verhoff was good as the youngest player in college hockey this year.
Yeah.
And it's just like the other parts is getting you to watch come along. And then Carroll's, we'll see how he does, but
Carroll's and Reed, right?
Well. Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'll argue that the most quote unquote NHL ready player is Albert Smiths. Is he a guy that's being taken largely off of floor, or what do you see for his ceiling compared to the 3 guys we've already talked about?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a high floor, but at the same time, I think teams look at the upside too. Like the thing with him right now is he's just like super chaotic. So like sometimes the decision making's there. Other times you're like, yeah, just give me the puck. I'm gonna see what we can do here. It's very entertaining. Plays one of the most entertaining brands of hockey I've seen in like a an underage defenseman. So, but I do think he's got a super high floor, and he makes a ton of plays on the puck. And he's looking to make plays. He's super assertive, physical, loves to throw hits. And obviously just an A+ personality, so he's obviously going to be very high on pretty much every team's list. So I love Albert Spitz. He's very, very fun player to watch, and he's going to go super high, and justifiably so.
That's fair. Is it a firm tier break after Smith's for you, or do you have will you be surprised isn't the right word, but will you at all be bothered if Villeneuve, Rudolph, Lynn goes before any of the 4 guys mentioned before?
There's 0% chance Villeneuve goes before them. If he goes close to top 10, I'd be pleasantly surprised. Dax Rudolph, I have a feeling will go top 10, and I get it.
Yeah.
So it's not again, he's one that it's not like a fucking fall or a far drop off from those guys. It's just how confident teams are in that offense. There have been times definitely throughout the season where it's just oh boy, I don't know if this will translate. But then he just kept putting up 2.5, 3 points per game. All right, well, at this point, it's undeniable.
At a certain point, I just have to shut up and take it. Yep.
Yeah, I would have put up 80 points this year in the dub.
Talk me through this next tier then. So we got Reed, Verhoff, Carroll, Smiths. Is the next tier another 4 guys looking at Villeneuve, Rudolph, Lynn, Gustafson? Do you see clear spots where it's no, I'd be bothered if someone went before someone else?
I wouldn't be really bothered if anyone goes before anyone. Gustafson's going to go super high too, and I love him. So I love that. Just a big. There's going to be questions about the ceiling with him.
Is he Jonas Brodin? Is that why you love him?
No, he is a 6'4" shutdown, pure, with less of the escapability, but he can. Very different player. I know what you mean, but he's extremely.
Sorry,
he's a defensive defenseman.
He's the same player. He fills the same role, right?
He's Swedish and he's a defensive defenseman. That's about it. That's
all I was going for.
He's a decent enough skater, I guess.
Okay, so why is he different? What's different about him from Jonas Brodin?
The size, the physicality aspect of it. It's not a guy that's just purely moving pucks and escaping. He's not an escape artist in his own end. He can get caught back there, but at the same time, he's just super smart, and defensively solid in zone, off the rush. He moves well. Yeah. But Brodin's in a different tier of skating.
People forget Jonas Brodin, wasn't he 7th overall?
Something like that. People forget.
People do forget. Is that the end of the tier for you, or do you think guys like Pipparainen, Hawkinson, others are in that same group?
That's probably where the tier breaks off.
Okay. The one I want to ask then, obviously, because he hasn't been mentioned yet, but Ryan Lynn, does his commitment to Denver change your opinion of him?
No, I've been super high on him the whole year.
But does that make you even higher on him?
No, I think teams would probably love you're gonna love the fact that he's going there because that's just an NHL prospect. That's where you want them to go develop, but doesn't. As far as my own projection, it doesn't really change anything. I've been super high on him the whole time.
Fair. Talk to me about this group then. I feel highest ceiling has to be Villeneuve for you, but within this, talking ceiling. No, sorry, talking in that tier.
Oh,
second tier.
Mm-hmm.
Villeneuve, the upside is clear, but the floor is obviously low.
Doesn't play. Yeah.
Right. Among this tier, looking at Rudolph, Lynn, Gustafson, how confident are you with each of their floors? Will they all be NHL defensemen, or do you look at them and be yeah, nope, you won't make it? if XYZ happens?
I mean, like Gus was in super high floor, very confident in him panning out, and I actually don't even think he's like that far away from playing NHL games. Obviously, like not like next year, probably not even the year after. He's a defenseman, but like the kid looked unbelievably good playing in the SHL this year. The handful of games that he got, to the point where like I think the first game was played like whatever classic European draft years, like maybe a minute or two.
Yeah,
and like it was like the next game was like 19 minutes. It's like,
well, and apologies because I mess up the double S's on Sun. Was it Gustafson or Hawkinson that absolutely just showed out for World Juniors?
well, I mean, Hawkinson was the one that went and played the World Juniors.
So that would make sense. It would be him. Okay.
So,
There's my answer. Of that group, I guess it's tough going past the first four who everyone's interested in. If you look Villeneuve, Rudolph, Lynn, Gustafson, if you have to look at them based on both ceiling and floor, like who do you think has the best ceiling floor combo? I know it's an abstract question, but like you get what I'm saying. Like you're not worried that they're never going to play, but also the upside is there. Like, how do you juggle it?
For me, probably going to be Lynn, but I could also just see team. Depends where he lands, like who drafts him. But I like Lynn's game. Like I think there's untapped offensive upside there that we saw flashes of this year, and obviously he's going to be able to. Well, if him and Rudolph are there at the same time, I don't know. Maybe Rudolph just going to be like, "Yeah, give me the puck, bitch." You defend. I will do the not defending part. But I love Lynn's defensive game. I think he's super smart. I think he's a really good skater. And he does have some skill. He can score. Like he can make really nice passes in the offensive zone. But like his game is just like he's constantly in the right spot. Defends really well. He's continuing to get stronger in his own end as far as like the end zone defending, like boxing out like bigger players, whatever. So college hockey is going to be interesting to see how he does. Again, Denver's a great spot for him. Rudolph, there's a lot of chaos there, but like super high upside, obviously. Like could see how he could shoot the puck, some of the passes he makes, him just like taking the puck in his own end and flying out of the zone. It feels just like I think there's like a wider range or whatever. And Gustafson's super high floor, and there's flashes of the upside. So I'm very, very intrigued, and I like how aggressive he is, like as far as like pinching, and just like deciding to go and not like waiting. Love that for him too. But I think as far as the balance goes, I'll probably go with Ryan Lynn, which might be the minority on that one, but that's fine.
I'm just here's my question, I guess. Here's the fun way to twist it, because am I correct? Does Boston pick directly after Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
So among that group, if Pittsburgh were to take said player right before Boston had the chance to, which one would bother you the most?
What?
That's your defenseman. Villeneuve, Rudolph, Lynn, Gustafson. We're sitting here, and it's just like when my soul was crushed when Zachary Benson III was taken right before Pittsburgh's draft pick. Which one would hurt you the most to see that Pittsburgh took and Boston cannot take anymore?
Probably a tie between Lynn and Gustafson.
Okay. Over Villeneuve and Rudolph.
Yeah, I just don't think the Bruins would ever. They're never going to be a team that would give a kid like Villeneuve a look.
All right, that's fair. All right, I can live with it. Question from Vigo that we just have to ask for the Gopher pundits, right? Oh, whoa, that just went away really fast. There we go. How high can you take Wyatt Cullen and justify it? I know we've talked about him a little bit. This guy has been the Has there been a bigger riser than Wyatt Cullen?
No.
Mostly because no one has vertically risen as much as him. Fair to say?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, he grew
like
so much. He grew so much, and it
he-
didn't impact his game. It's never happened. But tell me, like, what's the highest you can see him going?
11 or 12. Probably is right around where I have him.
That's the highest you can see him go. You can't see him going top 10.
Well, I mean, okay.
Or was that confusing by phrasing? What is the earliest you can see him drafted?
8, I guess.
8, I guess. That's reluctant. Okay.
I don't know. Fuck.
All right, let's frame it on the defense rankings here.
That's what I'm looking.
If he's taken before one of these defensemen, where does it bother you? Is he between Smythe and Villeneuve, or does he exist somewhere else?
Yeah, that's probably the cutoff there. It's gonna be interesting to see who goes first, him or someone like a Gustafsson. How the fuck to say it? But just looking at how I know the teams are like, we always talk about the run on defensemen starting super early, and no matter how confident I am in it, somehow it's either a lot less or a lot more. And the fact that Wyatt Cullen's been such a riser this year, I wonder how many teams are like confident in it. But same time, like one of the youngest players in the draft, literally a week shy of being eligible for next year's draft, obviously had the growth spurt, but some of the tools, like some of the skill he flashed all year long on like a dog shit fucking USN team.
Yes.
He's got the NH. The thing is also an annoying thing that teams obviously value a lot is he has the NHL bloodline, but obviously it's relevant. But like they love it. They love it.
I'd rather be
he's just like
electric.
He's just super, super electric. Like one of those guys, like you can't give him a bad pass either, which is always fun.
That is very fun.
He just loves it, takes it in stride, change directions, the hands. Like he's very fun. But you always wonder about the risers, like the rapid risers, and like every year. So we'll see how many teams are really paying attention.
That's fair. Anything else just draft wise? Are there any players that you've like questioned yourself on recently or change your opinion on where it's like, fuck, I've been saying this forever, but now I don't know?
I mean, like nothing noteworthy at the top of my head.
I can give you a second to think about it. A fun question, I guess, off of the Cullen piece. He's a big riser. A slight faller is Belchet's. Like, who would you rather draft?
Cullen.
In a vacuum. Cullen?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think all 32 teams think differently, but
right. I'm not asking about them. I'm asking about you.
That's why I answered so fast.
Yeah.
But I just like his game. Again, I'm always going to worry about the foot speed with Belchet's. Love the player, like great player. But I worry with foot speed. The fact that like he plays at his size, he's at times like reluctant to use his size to his advantage. Like he went from doing that really often, like in his draft minus 1 year, like early in his draft minus 1 year, he was like dropping the gloves. He's like hitting every single thing that moves. And maybe it was just the fact that he comes into this season as a potential first overall guy and he's like just thinking too much. So he is like a player that looks like the less he thinks, the better he plays. But I don't know. I like Cullen's game overall. Even if it's like it obviously doesn't project as like a premier power forward like Belchet's could if he hits, but whatever.
If he hits, for sure. They'll go head to head. Sadly, it scares me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. If we're done talking draft, we're done talking Wild, we're done talking Stanley Cup Finals. Like, there's not much else to go off of. We have a comment / question. Any news on fallers out of the combine that we should know?
None of the combine, but like one of the guys that I talked about him last week that is like falling, continuing to fall is Sheelov. Like,
yeah.
Like, there is some quotes from NHL teams. All of them are like losing their minds. Like, the epitome of if I had half of the talent that kid has, that kid has in the fingernail of his left index finger. Like this, I'm losing my mind. But it sounds
like having too many former NHLers in scouting position.
Crazy.
Anyone besides him? Because you've mentioned him before.
I mean, like not from the combine specifically, or like he's the one that stands out. It's like, man, that kid, as far as talent goes, he should be going top 12, 13, 14 in this draft class. But like another one that was a really rapid follower from day one of the season was the Russian kid. Oh my god. Now obviously my brain's gonna turn off.
Well, I'll bring one up that you were really high on that has fallen like to the third round, I believe.
Probably Fyodorov.
I don't remember him.
That's what I'm talking about though.
Sure, I know that. How do you feel about a guy that we were really high on both for all name team purposes and draft purposes at the time? If the Wild with their third round pick could grab Rubric, how would you feel?
It'd be an A+ pick in the third round. Yeah. He's still first couple picks of my second round, probably at this point. But
am I correct though that like a lot of people have him going later than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the opinions on him are all over the place too, but no one. I don't think there's any list I've seen past couple weeks that have him like sniffing top half of the first round. But I think Wheeler still has the end of his first round. You just like look at the tools, you still want to take a swing on it. It's just like another one that was like, man, can I pay you to care? Actually, what do you know? If you're in the NHL, we're gonna pay you.
Is he left or right wing?
Rubric?
Yeah.
In theory, he's supposed to be a center, but he's a. I think he plays both wings though. But primarily, if he's playing on the wing, he's probably playing on the left.
All right, I'm just gonna go in order then, because that's not gonna work. Oh, yep. Wheeler's got him at 30. Left wing. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else we want to hit on? I know there was a couple of... Let me just check real quick the comments. Have you heard what Florida is going to pay Bobrovsky? My assumption is that they won't pay him, personally. Is he shaking his head no? So we're out on that. From Matt Felton, why is there no chatter about us attempting to grab a center from a center stack team like Florida? Go grab Verhaeghe, go to Tampa and try for Cirelli. I mean, the real answer is first, Verhaeghe's not a center. Second, Cirelli's not being traded when he just finished in the top of the Selke ballots. We'd have to overpay. Not worth it. Anything you want to add?
No, the only one of the few teams I would look at as far as teams that have like a bunch of centers that I'm wondering how they feel about all of them is Buffalo still.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they're also in a position with a bunch of them that they don't really need to make a decision right now.
Yeah. The last one's a fun one from Two-Toed Sloth. I saw someone today say that Minnesota is becoming the destination for captains who quit on their teams, which I don't totally agree with, but it's objectively hilarious. I think it's extremely accurate and very funny at the same time.
I'll take it. Take all of the fun.
Like
Give me it all.
We brought in Nick Foligno. We brought in Quinn Hughes. We're going after Dylan Larkin. There's been side conversations about Boone Jenner. Like, why not just collect the captains? Gotta catch them all.
Mm-hmm. Big fan of that move.
Otherwise, we don't have to do it today, so I'm putting you on the spot, but I do think there's going to be a day where we have to go through Will Ferrell quotes and come up with the best ones that I can actually drop in a post-game press conference with Brett Larson. Are there any that come to mind immediately for you? If not, that's okay.
No.
All right. That's okay. You didn't even try, but I accept.
How the hell would I have had that ready to go?
Shaka Shooms.
I'm gonna die.
All right. It's bedtime for Z. We have done a full episode. Oh, hang on. Vigo just says Two-Toed Sloth wins comment of the night. Agreed. That's fair. I think that does it. It's been quite the episode. I'm sure next week there will be no shortage of Larkin speculation to be thrown because I don't think this trade happens until July, August. Who knows? But it's been fun, guys. We got two or 3 more weeks? 3 more weeks until the NHL draft. I'm sure Z's mind will change many a time until then, but
that's correct.
That's how it goes. We're good. I think we're just gonna freaking end it here.
Peace out.
Peace out.